Paul Krishnamurty, thank you so much for joining me on the other side of the world during this COVID crisis, pandemic that's going on. Thanks for your time.
The vice presidential pick could be very important.
One of the more topical markets at the moment. What are you thinking is going to play out there?
Well, I'm kind of like moving around a bit on this in that my book has been really, I've got four positives in my book, right? Elizabeth Warren, I've got a 20, Gretchen Whitmer, who I've got at like 12 and 10, Klobuchar, who I made number one last time at a shorter price, 5.8. Also Catherine Cortez Masto at about 30. Now, I've opposed Kamala Harris as well. Now, I have been very down on Kamala Harris's chance because I think she's going to make her a Supreme Court judge, right? And I see that he's allying with Warren in lots of things, but I'm now really coming to the view that Warren won't be vice president. He'll pick her for something else. He's going to make her like anti-corruption czar or something, right? Yeah. It's too risky to give up the Senate seat. And I do see that Biden is coming under a lot of pressure, and it's probably correct, really, electorally, that he should pick someone of colour, pick a woman of colour. Now, maybe that's Kamala Harris, although I don't think she's the right pick, and I think she's Supreme Court judge. That's where Cortez Masto comes into it. This, Hispanic senator from Nevada, she would bring Texas into play, Arizona. She could. I don't know a lot about her, but I know that she ticks the right boxes there. And really interesting little tip here is James Carville, who was Bill Clinton's advisor in the 90s, who is like a genius, like knows everything about it. He's on her. He puts her top 3.
Right.
And she's still like 25, 27. So, and Whitmer as well. I think Whitmer is a very interesting candidate because I think it's interesting that the Trump machine has gone after her in Michigan, clearly gone after her, right? Now, is the reason for that because they think she's the candidate?
Okay.
Again, ticks a lot of boxes. I mean, young female governor from the Midwest is perfect.
Yeah.
For Biden, absolutely ticks the right boxes.
Yeah. So just in terms of the state by state, obviously that's how the US elections determined. Do you put particular attention into the states that are the swing states? Do you focus on those?
Absolutely. Well, here's the angle. Here's the great angle for November. Rather than, if you want to back Trump, right, don't back him to be president. That's a poor value bet because to land that 2.1 bet, he's going to have to win a number of states for which he's going to be at least 1.95 for, right? 1.9, maybe bigger, maybe 2.3, 2.5. And he could very easily win a couple of those states and not become president. So I would say, if you want to back Trump, just back him to spread your stakes around. So let's say you want to have 50 units on Trump. I would have 20 units on Florida, 10 units North Carolina, 10 units Wisconsin, 10 units Pennsylvania. Yeah, right. Now, he's got to win. If he loses Pennsylvania and top of head, he might need Pennsylvania under all circumstances because Arizona's probably going to go the other way. But certainly, he can certainly win Florida and North Carolina and not be president, right? I would say he's got to win them under all circumstances.
Okay.
Right? And he's trailing in 3 out of the 4, so.
Yeah, beautiful. So a couple of questions out of that. Do you pay attention to a lot of the side markets on Betfair and the bookies and just sort of, pick different overs? Like, I imagine there's going to be hundreds of markets. There's already dozens up. Is there just going to be so many different side markets that you see opportunities in?
Absolutely. Every single one. The main market is rarely the best. right? The main market's the best one for trading because you'll get a bet matched, right? And all of this stuff on 400 to 1 A.K.A. or whatever, or Quomo, that's where you do that.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual result, there's no market up there yet, but there will be a market on the exact electoral college distribution. Now that is a fantastic market. I've got great memories of that from 2012 with Obama. Absolutely fantastic memories. Last time, it's like the great what should have been, because the irony there was that even when Trump was like we were saying, 8, 10 to win the presidency, you could have got about 14 or 18 on the two close electoral college markets. And there was no way he could win by more than that. Right. You know, yeah. You just had to back the two bands and it was much bigger. So, that's a real gold mine. And I do think there is a possibility here as well of a Biden landslide. I do think there is a scenario that is not really being factored in at all, where he wins all those states I just mentioned, plus Arizona, plus even Texas or Georgia or something crazy like that.
Right. Okay. Just
big odds on that.
Loading and some more negative press and Biden showing some strength and smashing.
Yeah, or just big turnout. Just because the turnout's pretty low in America.
Yeah.
Right. It's sub 60% generally. Now, you've seen in the midterms and in various special elections, massive rise in turnout. And certainly, just say hypothetically, they pick Cortez Masto, right? Hispanic woman. That has always been the great potential for the Democrats, if only they could get Hispanics to register and vote for them, right? Then it would change the maths completely. So, there is that. I'm not saying that's going to happen because I don't particularly feel that Biden is an exciting enough candidate to get people to do that. But it's certainly something to consider. Yep.
Okay. And do you trade a lot on the night too? Is that still a big night for you, paying attention to what's going on and getting in and out of markets?
Oh, yeah. Huge. Because I will be live tweeting it as well for Betfair on the night. So... I think that there are some great angles there. Because we get CNN here, right? That's the only free American channel. So you're watching that. It's not the most live feed, but it's pretty close. Okay. And of course, when the states are coming in, you see the results come in district by district. Now, that isn't even close to being evenly spread. You get the early vote first, and then you get the rural counties, and the big population cities that are usually Democrat, they go last. Right. So you're always going to get situations where someone goes 8% up and the market makes them. Last time, for example, the whole thing swung on Florida. Clinton went ahead. There was probably 10, 20% declared in Florida. Clinton went 5% up, 8% up. And the market went like 1.3, 1.2. Yeah. Right? Wow. And then Trump just had one good minute where suddenly he went from 20% reporting to 35% reporting, and suddenly he's in the lead. Wow. Yeah, and the whole thing's turned on its head. Yeah. And it's just how you react at that moment,
Yeah. So just going the opposite way of some big moves, I suppose.
Yeah, going the opposite way and knowing because this is the important state, this is Florida or Pennsylvania, how that's going to impact the main market and the electoral college market. Yeah. There's a whole series of interconnected trades to be had there. Okay.
And do they normally do the urban areas first, which I presume swing a bit left? So the Democratic... so potentially Biden will get the votes early? Like, is that how you predict?
No, it's the other way. It's the other way. It's generally the other way because it's the rural, small districts that count their votes first, which is more likely to be Republican. Okay. But then you end up often, as you did last time, to take the Florida example again, where once Trump went ahead there, he wasn't that far ahead, but he was a lot. But you couldn't tell if it was enough because there was Broward County to come, and Broward County made up, for example, something like 15% of the whole state, 10% of the whole state. and you knew it was going to go Clinton, but it was a case of she needs to win it by 75% to 25, and if it's 70, it won't be enough.
Wow.
So it really, it's so exciting. I mean, so many states I've seen over the years, it's been the primaries as well. They just go to the wire and go on all night. It's brilliantly exciting.
Yeah. Getting me excited just thinking about it. Actually, it's going to be an insane market on Betfair. The amount traded is just going to be extraordinary. Just in terms of your other research and resources that you pay attention to, do polls count for anything? Do you read those?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Certainly polls, although you've got to factor in there'll be a margin of error, and I'm very wary of looking at polls where the two candidates don't amount to 100%.
Okay.
Or the main candidates, because you'll get a lot of that. I mean, you got one yesterday that was Biden 8 points up, but they were like 46-38. So
right,
that's giving, there's another 10% to be decided there yet, right? So that's not really clear. But what is actually a better guide than the polls now, right? And this is like a real development in predictions that's made it a lot more predictable, is this MRP system, which is where the polling firms will predict each constituency based on long-term polling trends that they've done, but also just based on the demographics of the place.
Okay.
Right. So they've worked out that this is a place where the average age is higher than another place. So how will it go? And certainly in the last 2 or 3 British elections, they have been amazing. Really? Absolutely amazing. The polls can be a bit all over the place, but they're very clear what they think the MRP is because of the demographics. Now, again, so there's one MRP out so far, which is YouGov and The Economist, and it's very clearly Biden.
Right.
So the guy behind that is Grant Elliott Morris, who's on Twitter, and he says Biden has a 4 in 5 chance of winning.
Wow, there you go. Okay. Something that I like to pay attention to is FiveThirtyEight. Do you use that at all?
Yeah, I use it. Yeah, it's very interesting. Really useful data. The only criticism I have is it sort of feels like they cover all bases.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And you with like the model that they create, I don't think you can really do that. I don't think you can really have a model that applies to different elections, because every election's different, every candidate's different, and sometimes it can be very overreactive. So if you take it last time, I think there was Trump had a good couple of weeks in the polls, right? Just a good, but there were probably reasons for it. It was like Clinton being ill, stuff like that. Yeah. And as a result, his chance went from something like 30% to 55% in a week. It's just an overreaction. And then it went the other way. And on the midterms, interestingly, on the night when the results were coming in, the FiveThirtyEight model crashed. It just went bizarre, and the market went insane.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
So you've got to be a bit wary of that.
Yep, fair enough. Any other resources or people in particular on Twitter that we should be following to get a good gauge of what's going on?
Yeah, I would follow. Right, I'm not going to say their exact Twitter handles, I'm not sure, but the sites are the Cook Political Report, which would be, Dave Wassman would be one of them. I would look at Sabato's Crystal Ball, so Larry Sabato, he's very good. And obviously, as well as that, Nate Silver and Nate Cohn from FiveThirtyEight. And as I say, this guy, Grant Elliott Morris, who's at YouGov and The Economist, who's doing the MRP thing, very good.
Okay. Cool. All right. Good resources. And just before I let you go, just in terms of your betting practice, are you always trying to create a green book, or are you just trying to pick overs and you'll ride things, knowing that you've got the right price, or are you trying to get out of things?
Oh, I wish it was like I could answer that. With cricket, yes, always green up, right? Don't get emotional at all, green up, right? With golf, no, I can't do it. I can green up to an extent, but I can't have it. If I've backed someone at a big price free tournament, you've got to leave the extra bit on there. Just it's too much, right? Now, with politics, I do sometimes. If it depends. If I'm just beating the market, if I see something like now and I think, well, that's too big and the market moves my way, I will green up. But on the night, I'm far more likely to have lots of big bets or big positions. And unless something actually comes along, like if you take last time, I should have cashed out, obviously, because I had a great position. But I ran it because I couldn't see Trump winning. And in the end, I did bail out and I halved my loss when it was turning, because I saw it turning. But I didn't want to. I was really resistant to turn because I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't want to give that bit away. But I would advise people to green up generally.
Okay. Yeah.
It's too stressful otherwise. And of course, the point about greening up is you can always go in again, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
true.
10 minutes later.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right, mate. Well, we've covered a lot of ground. I reckon we'll try and get you on here just before game time.
Okay.
It'd be great to get an updated perspective on your thoughts. Good luck with the Korean baseball betting, and thanks so much for joining me from the UK at about midnight, or what is it, 12:30 now? So thanks so much.
Like that, yeah. No worries at all. Pleasure.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, Paul. Cheers, mate.
Okay, mate. Cheers.